Bum, ba-da-bum. And we're back. I don't remember what I was doing. So, real quick recap of what's been going on. So, before my like 2 videos ago or so, I started making the connection between psychology and the game, specifically from a renowned psychologist named Carl Jung. And I've been developing a lore video for that, and it's turned out to be like an hour long, this huge, massive project. And I've never made a video like this before, so it's taking forever to do it. So that's kind of where I've been going. I've also been on the road for work last 3 weeks, so I haven't been at home to do any of this stuff. So hopefully that video will drop by the end of the week or so, and then yeah, hopefully y'all like it. It's going to be one of like probably like 10, 12, 15 videos or something like that that's going to explain the lore of the game and the story of the game, how I am starting to understand it. And if you want to, you can go back and check out the video. I forget what, I should just look it up real quick. Let me see, I forget what part it is. But I make so I did it a month ago. It's called "It's All America's Head," and basically, what I explain is that. So it's becoming more and more obvious that this game is all inside of America's psyche, and I know that's kind of hard to like. It's kind of hard, one, to understand, and it's kind of hard, two, to accept, because a lot of people want more than that, right? Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, this makes sense, but the fact that it's all in America's head is just like, it doesn't really sit well with me. But I think if you think about like some of the best movies, and cinema, theater, all that kind of stuff has all been about like human psychology, consciousness. Like if you look at Shutter Island, for example, like that's an example of, it's kind of all inside of his head. They're playing it out, but it's all within his own consciousness. Inception, like this game reminds me of Inception so much, like the fact that you go down into different layers of of the world and of like the structures of the brain, and the things that are down there are really occult, really hidden things that they don't want to be found, things like that. It's just one of those things that's like, I think it depends on how you view it. If you choose to view it as, oh, I really want it to be more, I think you're going to find that you're talking about somebody's basically imagination. So the world is limitless, right? Like all of these different things are, and again, total disclaimer, this could be totally wrong, but since I've been researching this, I've read about 4 psychology books, I've read research papers, I've done all this different stuff, and it's like it fits so well. The fact that America has a shadow, and inside that shadow holds destined death, which is something that she represses about herself. And psychologists refer to the shadow as like this dark, beastly figure that like hides in the corners. You don't know it's there, and all that kind of stuff. And it's the fact that the animus is the male counterpart to a female soul, and that an animist usually takes on the form of somebody who's very familiar to that female, either a husband, a brother, a son. Like, all of these things are starting to line up, that Radagon looks just like Godwyn, except he has red hair. The shadow of America lives in a place where the sun doesn't set, so there's constant shadows, and that within her shadow holds the psychological factors that she does not like about herself, such as death, destruction, all that kind of stuff. Even Ronnie, you can see Ronnie has a shadow as well, and Blythe holds the personality traits and things like that Ronnie hates about herself, such as kindness, warmness, loyalty. All the stuff that Ronnie hates about herself is thrown into her shadow, which is why shadows look similar, right? They're both like wolf, black figures, but they act totally different. Malekith is huge because America has been repressing him for so long that yada yada yada. I don't want to just give the whole video away and all that kind of stuff, but one thing that I did want to touch on is, while I was editing that video, I was looking at the map, and one thing really, really stood out to me, especially because my mind is kind of in like that psychology realm, is that looks identical to a cross-section of a brain. So, the anatomy of a brain, if you split it down the middle, this is what you'd see. And it even has the wrinkles and lines in it for the gray matter part of the brain. It even has like the split for the cerebellum. And the fact that this body of water looks so different to every other, like, look at like this normal body of water, right? Like, no lines, no squiggles, no nothing. Normal body of water. Sure, they have like currents and stuff in them, but nothing that like, oh, this is something. And then you go to here, and it's like, if you Google a picture of a human brain scan, you will see this image. And this crazy interesting part is that where the capital sits, like right where my cursor is at right now, is the part of the brain called the thalamus. And the thalamus deals with human consciousness. That is where psychologists and biologists think that consciousness arises from, is this place in your brain, the very center of your brain, called the thalamus. And in my video, I make the claim that America is the ego part of the brain, right? Like that the tree represents the ego part of America's brain. So it's like, it was one of those moments for me that I felt like, okay, I'm definitely on the right track. It would take an incredible amount of like evidence and persuasion for me to go against this at this point. Like, I'm not married to it by any means, but the dots that are being connected by following this psychology like foundation is becoming so clear, like so clear. Even the fact that we start our journey in a cave is like Plato's allegory of the cave, where it's part of your consciousness. You are, if you're in the cave, you haven't really started your journey of consciousness yet. You're still living in a cave. Is like the allegory to it. So it's just like, I don't know. There's so much evidence to it right now that it's honestly like blowing my mind. And I'll get on Reddit and I'll you know, YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I feel like I'm the only one who has made this connection, which could definitely mean like, hey, you're a dipshit and this is totally wrong. But again, the amount of evidence and stuff that I'm finding, and the things that I'm not making these giant leaps, right? Like, I'm not trying to connect, well, it could be this and like it could be that, and I'm just like, I'm reading a book and then I'm looking at the game and I'm like, okay, like, yeah, this is, they like overlay perfectly. It's like the blueprint and then the building. Like, it's like you could literally lay it out flat and it would be exactly what it is. Even the DLC, the Shadow of the Erd Tree, is like, there's so much psychology just in the name, Shadow of the Erd Tree. So it's, if I'm correct, and the Erd Tree represents the ego, the shadow is the direct reflection of the ego. That's just psychology. I mean, that's not like a hypothesis or something. That's just psychology. So, if I had to take a guess, the game would be set in the post Frenzy Flame ending. It would be my guess, because I don't want to get too much into it, but basically, like, there's personal shadows, collective shadows, all that kind of stuff. So the shadow of the Erd Tree represents order, all that kind of stuff. Shadow of that would be chaos, which is the frenzied flame. America's shadow is death and destruction, which represents the Glow My Queen. So that, like, it's, again, like, there's so many videos that are going to be put out, but it's going to take a lot of time, and the material, the subject, is already difficult enough, and then trying to tie it to a Miyazaki game is like, the connections are definitely there, but it takes a lot of effort to understand psychology and then understand the world of Miyazaki and then tie them together. So that's what I've been doing. It's been wild, honestly. And again, like, I am so open to people if they say, like, this is not right, and it's because XYZ, here's what I found, and it, like, I'm not married to this by any means, but it's like a funnel, right? Like, at some point, everything kind of leads back down to this one thing, and that's, I feel like I'm kind of there, where it's, everything is leading down to this Jungian psychology, and America going through the process of individuation. So, which is analogous to the process of the magnum opus. So, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Yeah, hopefully that video comes out soon. It's taken a month or so to make it and edit it and all that kind of stuff. And I don't have a good enough computer, so it keeps crashing. But yeah, it's been super interesting. So basically, from here on out, what I want this series to be about is, while I'm playing the game, can I make these connections while playing the game? Because it's easy from like a 30,000 foot view to say, okay, so Radagon is America's animus. But to actually look deep within the lore and still make the connections and thread the deeper threads together is really where the theory will gain legs, hopefully. So, yeah, that's it for now. I don't remember what we were doing, but I think I'll just start it. I ended up in Caelid, so I'm just going to hop in Caelid. I think I'm going to go through Celia and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to remember. this was going to be 100%, but taking a 3-week break and like not really knowing what I was doing, it's just going to be kind of a whatever happens to be. But I definitely want to do the Frenzy Flame Indian. That's for sure. So, yeah, let's just jump into, I guess, what I'm at this time. I don't remember what I'm rocking here. Crucible fish action. And then, so, okay, I kind of got to get this one other thing out. But if this theory holds true, all of these different demigods would just represent different aspects of America's personality. Which, if you think about it, makes really, really good sense, because each great rune seems to have its own very distinct traits. Like for example, Rykard would represent like blasphemy. Like his whole thing is about one specific aspect of somebody's personality. And Radon would be like strength and keeping the status quo. Ronnie would be like rebellion. Like she would be the rebellious, almost like teenage years of somebody's, where they're just going against the grain. They are fighting against everything. So, yeah, it's, again, so much to unpack. But I really hope that you'll stick with me and kind of take the journey with me. It's going to be a wild one, and I cannot wait for DLC. Like, DLC is just going to be the Battle of Aeonia, Radon and Melania, locked in stalemate, then the Scarlet Rot Bloom. One other thing, while I was doing all this research, is I was listening. It's interesting because a lot of it also stems from Jordan Peterson, which I know he's like, polarizing in whatever your opinions on him. But you can't help. I mean, he's a really well-known psychologist and all that kind of stuff. But he also kind of dissects Jung's thoughts and ideas and stuff, and he says that psychological forces are the gods of the real world, of the world, which makes like pretty good sense. Like you think about it from like our Elden Ring point of view. You could see Rot as being like the psychological force of like death and things like that, and life is another psychological force. And you son of a bitch. It's been a minute. Because at first, like, it still might be the case. I kind of thought that the gods were like, I thought they related to the Zodiac. And I thought that each god has its own kind of like time in the sky. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the precession of the equinox and like the great year, but essentially what it is it's saying that like the zodiac sign Pisces has been in the sky, the dominant zodiac sign in the sky for the last 2,000 years. And every 2,000 years or so, because of the way the Earth rotates and wobbles, the next zodiac sign, Aquarius I think is what it is, would become the dominant zodiac sign. And the zodiac sign for Pisces is the fish, which in our, the real world is why the era of like Christianity and stuff is represented by a fish, because that was the dominant zodiac sign in the sky when Jesus was born. And I thought it was weird because Godwin looks like a fish and is dead, sort of. So I thought, in my mind, I was like, well, maybe that's just saying that it's the next zodiac sign's turn to be the god, which would be Aquarius, but I haven't really found anything that matches up super well with that. So that kind of, it's a really, really, really interesting topic. And I definitely think Miyazaki pulls a lot of his influences from things like astrology and cosmology and things like that. But I just haven't found a super concrete tie to the theory. So not saying that there isn't one, but I have yet to find it. Did I even put one more yet? Let me see it. One last. Your splintered blade dancing amongst the stars. Yeah, so kind of back to the Jordan Peterson gods or psychological forces. He makes it very clear that it only becomes a god when it has taken over somebody's life. So any psychological force could become that person's god, if that makes sense. Like the fact that rot has completely taken over Melania's whole entire being is like what Jordan Peterson is saying about that is it's completely taken over it's her god at that point. So you're listening. Baby. Come on, man. Come on. Ooh. Oh, what? Whoa! I've actually never fought her, so I had no idea she could even do that. Oh, that's good. 6. Alright, let's see. Starting off good here. Mm-hmm. Give me one. probably gonna die, like, very hard for this guy. Oh, what the? Uh-oh. What the? Get down. Ooh. Don't die. Oh, shit. We did it. Commander's Standard. I'm doing a strength faith club. Sounds good. One other thing I think is important to keep in mind about hey, what up? What's up? About any theory, right, is that it's not going to explain every single answer, right? Like, it's like a movie. How you doing today, my boy? Good, man. How you doing? How you doing, huh? There's going to be side quests and plots and all sorts of different things that don't fit perfectly within, like, that one main theory. But it's, like, that's how every single, like, I don't know, mass entertainment thing is done. Has one main storyline and then a bunch of other little things. Oh, I love it. What are you up to today, huh? This intricately crafted needle of unalloyed gold, snapped in half, a ritual implement crafted to ward away the meddling of outer gods. Trying. I mean, fully understand it. I don't know about that, but at least have a idea of what like the inspirations were and things like that. Oh, the DLC will be good. I know it's going to be good. What I don't know is how big it's going to be. My guess is going to be humongous. But yeah, it's oh, dude. Bloodborne, the entire game of Bloodborne was a masterpiece. By far my favorite game to play. Okay, so Elden Ring, for me, I like the variability that you get with your character creation, right? So to me, it's a better game. But like the style of combat, how quick-paced it was, the enemies, the twists and turns that the story went through, like the first time you see like, you know, the Lovecraftian thing. Oh no. I started playing back when Dark Souls 1 first came out. Yeah. I picked it up randomly at a Red Box, and basically played it like 100 hours straight, which I've never done before any other game. I've never done that. And then once I beat that a couple times, I went back and played Demon Souls, which I love. Dark Souls 2 was like, the stream is kind of played. Oh, is it? Is it super laggy right now? Oh, that sucks. It looks fine on my end. I don't know what's going on. I do have just kind of shit internet, so could be that. But yeah, I've been a huge Souls fan since like 2010 or something like that. So, but this is like the first time I've kind of taken a deep dive on my own to try and understand the lore, which has become like this incredibly daunting task, but rewarding. Like it's fun to explore for sure. I don't think so hard about all of this. Keep doing what you do. Yeah, absolutely. Will do. Appreciate it.
Oh, a pleasure to see you. A pleasure indeed. I am Gari, a great sage. In my day, anyway. I'd hoped to ask a favor when one of your ilk came along. A strapping young tarnished, able to cross the scarlet swamp of Aeonia. Don't fret, I'll provide fine recompense. Should you accept, I will teach you the secret of Celia, the town you see there.
Where? Let me hear it.
Then
Let me hear it,
you are
old timer.
willing to lend a hand, are you? I need your help to heal a certain young girl. Her name is Millicent.
She just attacked me.
You will find her beyond Celia, resting at the church atop the cliff, stricken by the rotting sickness.
Okay.
Oh, you found the unalloyed gold needle. As promised, I've detailed the secret of Celia right here. Go on.
No, dude, I don't know. It depends on how big it is. If I was a betting man, I would say that it's gonna be like, at minimum, I bet you it's gonna be at minimum $20. I think that's how big it'll be. I think it'll add
Well, this is a marvel
20,
indeed.
30 hours worth
The
of
work of a
gameplay,
true
is my guess.
artisan, a meticulous,
I mean, like,
bold
if you took your time and, like,
craftsman
went through it and all
grasps
that
the
kind of stuff.
essence of life. Can you give me some time?
The fact that they haven't even
This,
given us a date.
as well made as it is, it won't be much use snapped in half.
Yeah.
Will it?
Exactly. The fact they haven't even given us a date, to me, is like, it's so big that they don't even know when they're going to put it out yet. They're still working on it. So, I hope they take the time. I don't care if it's 5 years from now. like that, I'd love it. If it takes them a year and it's epic.
Can you give me some time with this? As well made as it is, it won't be much use snapped in half, will it? Can you give me some time with this?
Was Bloodborne
as
your
well
favorite
made
game?
as it is, it won't be much.
And what's your... Yeah, exactly. Yep, even if it comes out. I mean, it's like one of those things that, like, for all I would have cared, if they kept making Bloodborne DLCs over and over and over again, like, I would have been a happy little boy. It's like, it's a fine line between, you still want them to pump out the thing that you're enjoying at the moment, but you know that the next thing they're going to put out is going to be, like, even more epic. So, it's like this catch-22 of you want them... You have 99 patience. Why is that? You want it to be... You want them to move on, but you want them to also, like, give you a little cherry on top with the last thing that they did. So I hope it's one big DLC, and then they get moved on to... Yeah, I would go with Bloodborne 2. I mean, only because I feel like it's been vetted so much that there's not really any more, like, huge mysteries about it. Still an absolutely amazing game, and probably will go down as one of the best games of all time, and one of my favorites for sure. But yeah, it's if I had a pick, it would definitely be a Bloodborne 2. Did you, yeah. I never, like, I never really noticed it. Yeah, it's a, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. But I never really noticed the bad, like, frame rate issues. Was it, like, a specific place that it was bad? Like, Dark Souls 1, Lighttown Swamp was, like, a, like, turn book. Yeah. It is weird, isn't it? But that can't be a, so my guess, this is just a guess, is that because FromSoft puts so much content in their game, and so much detail, that running it at a higher frame rate, and resolution would crash the current model. Like, I feel like they're constantly pushing the current model of console to, like, the absolute extreme. So having it, there's probably a decision, well, do we want to put it at 60 frames, or do we want all this shit in it? My guess is they could remaster it in 60 frames and play it on PlayStation 5. Like, no, I prefer content. I don't think I'm a big enough gamer to really like get like the full 30 versus 60. Like, I can see it, but to me it doesn't change anything about the game. Like, it would be nice, but the game is still the game. So yeah, I mean, if like you're saying, if a piece of crap 5 out of 10 game had 60 frames, I wouldn't play it. Come on. This guy's just keep respawning. I'm literally just like mindlessly going through this right now. Bro, your stream is lagging. Damn. What is going on? Like, when I watch it, because my Wi-Fi is super good. Okay? I mean, my Wi-Fi, like, it's not great, but it's definitely not bad. I don't know, man. Like, what I'm seeing on my end is it's running just fine. I'm getting new internet. I bet it's super fucking, yeah, like I would hate watching that too. Appreciate you sticking this far into it. I don't really know what to do with it. So I think, like this one? It's not game. I don't know, man. Yeah, dude, listen, I totally get it. Has it been like that the whole stream? My dog's about to croak. Let's see. So weird. can you do me a favor, if you're still watching, and go back to one of my other like past live streams, which they all are, because I'm not doing anything different, so I don't know why it would be laggy right now. So I'm watching myself on YouTube, like just making sure everything is running right, and it's running like just fine for me. So I'm not sure it So I have had this happen one other time where it got super laggy, but it was in a very specific area. I think it was the Eternal City. So as soon as I got out of that, so maybe it's something about the swamp. Maybe I just my internet can't handle the swamp. Well, what was that? Hmm. I think it's no. Really? What the hell is it? In here? No. 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 What the hell? What did I just pick up? It's a hat. Blue scarab worn directly on the head. Scarabs roll clumps of cerulean tears during their labors. Slightly increases the recovery effects of Glasgow. Cerulean tears, but increases damage taken. Why the frick would you ever want that? Night Comet. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. What the hell is this? Have you guys always been here? Oh, bullshit. I have a theory about what the Nox. And if I was gonna take a stab at it, I'm about to carry yourself. I would say that the Nox represents the Illuminati. So, for those that don't know, the Illuminati, so it's Latin for, it's either Latin for the Enlightened One or Enlightenment or something like that. They are all about intelligence. I think that they started in like the Renaissance era. Could be wrong about that. But they were basically persecuted and driven literally underground by the Catholic Church, by Christianity, because they were all about science and knowledge and at one point tried to create life, which the Catholic Church saw as a direct attack against God. Because if people can create life, then what's the point of God, right? Like, and basically, like all of these really, really renowned scientists and things like that were driven underground and forced to kind of hide their findings and their scientific discoveries in fear of like the church finding out and literally killing them. So, and we know that the Nox and the Eternal Cities are creating life, and that they got forced underground because of the greater will. They provoked it, so it lines up like pretty well. I mean, and the Nox are all about science and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting because I mean, obviously, like there's tons of Christian undertones and overtones and all sorts of spiritual, religious things woven into Elden Ring, and the fact that they are almost mimicking that story, I think it's pretty cool. Nox flowing sword, a grim weapon wielded by swordsmen of the Eternal City. This shuttle has a blade as fine as a needle, forged from the liquid metal of a silver tear that is thoroughly tempered into hardened. Forged from the liquid metal of a silver tear, thoroughly tempered into hardened. It's interesting that they've used the word as fine as a needle. I mean, it makes you immediately think of once his face still has it. It makes you immediately think of Mikla's needle, except that it's unalloyed gold instead of silver. So. Oh. Oh! What voice you have, bro? And we know that America is the same stock as, comes from the same place as the Noxus or something to that effect. Like they are linked ancestrally. So it makes sense that she would have, the know-how or the ability to craft something like that. I know Nicola is the one who crafted it, but in my theory, Nicola is just a aspect of America's personality, so they're one and the same. So. I know. Stop screaming at me. Got ya. Ooh. Ooh. Church of the Plague. Huh? Hi. I gotta go find your thing first. Hold up.
Who's there? Well,
Me.
it matters not. If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot. It is a curse. Not to be meddled with by man.
Sorry, 1 second. I was trying to have somebody else pop on and see if my phone's never made that noise before. It's weird. Get that back, bro. Found your lady. Has that always been there? A little windmill. Hey, must have always been there.
I have awaited your return. The needle is repaired. Now it will forestall the rotting sickness, I'm sure. Will you give it to the girl, Millicent? I will reward you in kind. Millicent rests at the church atop the cliff beyond Celia, the town yonder, tended to by the witless pests who worship her, or rather her rotting sickness, as a god. A wretched fate, indeed. The poor girl, she never wished for any of this. Do you find it peculiar that I would show such concern for the girl? Well, I'm the one that found her. A mere babe in the swamp of Aeonia. She is one of my dear daughters. But the rotting sickness erodes one's memory. I doubt that she remembers the first thing about me. Oh, I must be getting old. I didn't always worry so much.
I don't know what that means.
Now, all you need to do is deliver the needle to Millicent. She's convalescing in the church atop the cliff just beyond Celia. Do so, and you shall receive a handsome recompense, of course.
Thank you, baby. Now let's check this out. Blah, 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 blah. One snapped in half has been repaired by Sage Gallery. A ritual implement crafted with the ward meddling out of outer gods. It is thought capable of forestalling the incurable rotting sickness. Ritual has been crafted to ward away the meddling gods. Stock capable of forestalling the incurable rotting sickness. The hidden treasure of the eternal city of Nokron, blade said to have been born of a corpse. Eternal drenched fetish is proof of the high treason committed by the eternal city and symbolizes its downfall. Cannot be wielded by those without a fate. Maybe that's what an Empyrean is, somebody who has a fate. But it's said to be able to harm the greater will and its vassals. So if we use the thought of the Nox representing the Illuminati, and that the high treasons, that they started creating life outside of God. Blade said that you had been born in a corpse. Interesting. Okay, let's go back. Oh my god, I didn't sit there. What a dummy. What a dummy. Alright. So the Illuminati were said to convene at like this, the Church of Enlightenment, I think is what it's called. Like that is, if you only the Illuminati know about it, and they are the only ones that have access to it. Stand by.
If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot.
See that? Hold on. Let me look at you. Let me get a good look at you. You see your eyes.
If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh.
Oh, Jesus. Dude. Are her eyes golden?
If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot. You ask that I stab myself with the needle to quell the scarlet rot. How? Never mind. I've decided I would rather trust you than simply continue to spoil from within. Would you mind averting your eyes for a moment? Well, that was easier than expected. But why do I feel so...
Whoa. Oh, her eyes were closed. I thought they were like black. It's interesting that they don't want you to see that. Like, ugh, I did not realize all those were like little hands. That's disgusting. So, okay. So let's just play around with this idea of the Illuminati and it representing the Nox. So if their place and the god that they worship, I don't know if they worship it, is the goddess of rot. Would rot symbolize like scientific progress, like modernization, and it's like killing us? Maybe. You look good. Did your hair and everything. Also, okay, so another reason why I think that they're all just projections of America's personality is they all look the same. Like, they all have the same face structure, like, they're all like the same, like, complexion, like, it's, I don't know. I'm not saying that necessarily Millicent, you know, but it seems that all of the female characters have very similar face structures, looks, appearances, blah, 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 blah. Oh, nope. Nope. No.
I hoped to see you again. My apologies for when last we met. I fainted before I could even thank you. Everything is as you said. Since inserting the needle, the scarlet rot has ceased to writhe. Even the nightmares have abated. And now, though I can scarcely believe it myself, I can move as I please. Not that I could ever truly repay you, but I would like you to have this, by way of thanks. A token though it is. I'm considering leaving. On a journey. With the needle buried in my flesh, I've started to recall, but dimly, my destiny. It's all thanks to you. My name is Millicent. I pray fate permits us meet again. I'm considering with the needle buried in my flesh. I've started to regret my destiny.
On your face. Huh. Okay. That was great. You saved it. Who Gray. Let me read this real quick. Glaive made from a hard, sharpened shell, wielded by the pests who emerged from the swamp of Leonia, slightly increases non-physical damage negation. Though men might recognize the keen intellect of the pests, evidenced by the spear's uncanny design, it will never be understood by them. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Get out of there. If you go watch the movie Angels and Demons, the sequel to the Da Vinci Code, it's like all about the Illuminati and stuff like that. I think you'd be. Oh, there's a little snap there. Turn on the lights. I think you'd be surprised about what you'd find between that story, not the story of Angels and Demons, but the story of the Catholic Church and the Illuminati compared to the the Golden Order and the Nox. I hate those things. Ooh. I don't even want to go down there. Do I have to? Oh, sorry. Thank the good Lord. kind of nice though to like take such a long break and then come back into it. Like, I feel like sometimes when you play over and over and over and over again, you just are kind of like rushing through it. You're kind of over the grind part of it, like the little nitty gritty details of it. So I feel like I'm just really like kind of in the zone of taking my time, thoroughly like vetting out things. Not worth it. Oh, oh. Thank you, baby. Oh, God. crystal thorn. Oh. It's pretty sweet with the golden eyes, though. Alright, what? Sorcery of the mysterious crystallians creates a massive crystal then fires off shards in rapid succession. The wrath of the crystallians encapsulated in sorcery. Each shard is a substantial size, making even a stray blow capable of inflicting a severe wound. Oh, God. Well, it's not a good idea. Gosh. Oh! God. That's so bad. Okay, bye. Goodbye. I'm dead. Hate those things. Oh God! Oh no! Oh no! Well. I'm not okay. can't do it. I cannot sit there. Let's go like that. What the hell are you doing? Alright, let's take a second here. Fogginess and loss of FP once the threshold is reached. We'll clear this tunnel, and then I'll probably call that for now. Yeah. Talisman engraved with a scene from a heroic tale. Raises dexterity. Though born into the accursed rod, when the young girl encountered her mentor and his flowing blade, she gained wings of unparalleled strength. Talisman bearing an icon that depicts this group of masked figures. Raises potency of incantations. The figures represent the flock at prayer. Their firm belief in the intangible, inspiring even the solitary founder of their religion. The figures represent the flock at prayer. Their firm belief in the intangible, inspiring, the solitary founder of their religion. What is faith if not an affirmation? The four sisters were born in the swamp of Aeonia and came to the hallowed tree under the aegis of Gowry. And yet those buds were doomed to never blossom. Four sisters were born in the swamp. Okay. Huh. The talisman depicting the exaltation of pests raises attack power when poisoning or rot occurs in the vicinity. Rot for the Scarlet Goddess, O scarlet blossoms, flourish in distant lands and return to us, the unwanted children. Oh, no. We did it. Alright, let's level up some stuff. And then I might call it good.
Well, where have you been hiding? I took you for dead. No matter, it's all the same. Lay out your arms, then.
Really? I have a 6? Alright.
I am pleased to see you again. Would you like me to hold you once more?
Sure.
Now, come closer.
See, I'm not saying that she looks identical, to all the other females in the game, but
You are so very warm.
like, look at the men in the game. They're so different.
My dear, might I ask something of you? Could you please find the owner of this dagger and return it to them?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
A certain person gave it to me as a gift. It's a very precious thing. It must have a special place in the owner's heart.
Literally.
So I would like for the original owner to have it back, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm all over it, baby.
I'd like you to find the owner of the... It's a very Then good day to you, my dear.
Mm-hmm. Hi, E. Like, look at the difference between Godfrey and Godric and him. Rajier, that's it. And Radigan. They all four look totally different. Yet, like, damn near every girl in this thing looks the exact same. Almost. Almost. Not saying every single one of them, but definitely strange. Let's read what the dagger says. Whether dagger received from Fia, the deathbed companion. She wishes for it to return to its rightful owner. It was once a special weapon of gold and silver intertwined, but is now worn down and marred by a black gash. Like, well, why does she have this? You know? How the hell would she get that? That she got off of just somebody who lives in death, that she was a deathbed companion for.
Hell. Well, what have we here? How did you get your hands on that dagger? Well, that hardly matters. I know very well whose dagger it is. Why don't I return it to them for you? Good work bringing this to me.
So then I would assume that it's his brother's dagger? Right? But his brother and him like share a soul? role of the hunters is to stamp out defiled reason, all for the perfection of the Golden Order. So I'll just touch on this a little bit, because I want to make a video about this, but Carl Jung, the psychologist that I refer to a lot, he has a lot of books and theories on Christ and Christianity. One is that he believes that the Christ within us, the God within us, comes out once we go through the process of individuation. So that's another reason America's going through the process of individuation, which is like an internal magnum opus, which is why she's crucified the way that she is. She's depicted as being Christ, because she is going through that process. But Jung also he sees a flaw with Christ, in that he lacks a shadow side. For somebody to be a completely whole, unified, balanced person, they have to have an ego side and a shadow side. And the shadow side doesn't necessarily mean like evil or bad. It's just the qualities about yourself that you don't necessarily want to identify with. Most of the time, sure, they're probably bad. But because Christ didn't have that, Jung saw it as a flaw. Something that made Christianity and Jesus Christ not a whole, balanced system, because they didn't have like death, right? They didn't have that shadow side, which is like what this is. The Golden Order, again, a reflection of Christianity. It lacks its shadow side. It's literally stamping out anything that goes against it, which means that it won't, because of the persecution that they're doing to other people, it has no counterpart, right? It has no opposite pole to keep it in balance and in check. And that was a concern, I guess, or like something that Jung noticed within Christianity and within Christ. And he, again, I don't want to say a ton about it, but yeah, essentially the Golden Order is analogous to Christianity, and the fact that and specifically, I guess you would say, like Jesus Christ, and the fact that it's so pure and so righteous that it doesn't have a shadow counterpart, which makes it completely unbalanced, and not like a system that can keep moving. So, like, the role of the hunters is to stamp out defiled reason, all for the perfection of the Golden Order. Like, that is, my brain goes to that piece of Carl Jung's findings or research, which again is just like another layer of Jungian psychology, just adding more and more onto the blueprint, and that it's just all layering very nicely. And again, goes back to like the shadow of the Earth Tree must mean that that is what death and destruction leads to, right? Like, when everything's in balance, right, you have a system that works well. There's not one thing that's dominating. It's all just kind of happening together. But what we see now is that the balance are way off. And life and order and the golden order, all that kind of stuff is completely buried everything else. So the shadow of the Earth Tree means that in order for it to, because this has been so off balance for so long, it's not just going to go back to here. Like, there has to be an equal and opposite reaction to it. Which my guess is that's what we're going to find in the DLC. It's like this, we had it one way, and now because we had it that way with no shadow, the shadow has completely taken over. And now it's only the shadow. Now only the shadow exists because you repressed it. Young also said that once you repress your shadow for so long, it grows and it grows and it grows until one day it completely takes over your psyche, and you are that shadow. You're no longer who you want to be. You are who you've been repressing. And I think you see that a lot with people. It's like they try so hard to fight all of these things that they don't want to be for so long, but they can't hold back the floodgates forever. And one little crack in that floodgate, there's no stopping it. So that would, like, that's, to me, that's what I would expect in the DLC. It's the complete opposite of what we've been seeing. But it's still going to be the same. It's still going to be America, is my guess. And it's going to be her balancing that back out, right? Which might get, and like, again, Miyazaki loves to do this a lot, but he likes to go from like one extreme to the other. That's kind of how his games go. So my guess is at the end of the Glowmite Queen, my guess is who we're going to be fighting at the end. And we're going to essentially set in motion again the next Earth Tree, right? Until we get to the Golden Order, and then the balance tip again, and then it's the Glowmite Queen and death and destruction, and then her psyche is just constantly doing this. So just a guess, but I don't know. I'm super pumped about it, and I hope you guys are too. Stay tuned for that lore video. Hopefully it'll come out by the end of this week. Love to get you guys' thoughts and stuff on it. I'm going to continue to do these deep dives. I'm going to try and get back into a normal, regular, 3 or 4 times a week type of thing. The times are going to vary just because that's life for me right now. So whenever I have a few hours during the day or at night or whatever to jump on, I'm going to. So make sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon to stay, that way you know when I get live and come chat with me. Because I really do appreciate each and every one of you coming on and talking to me. I love it. I love talking to people, getting their opinions and ideas and stuff like that. And yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the whole psychology thing. I'd be interested to get your take on it. Obviously, there's a lot more to tell, but once my video comes out, hopefully it'll paint a clear picture of what I'm trying to explain. Because it's tough. It's tough to try to explain. It's like trying to explain the movie Inception. It's easier to like watch the movie and then like hit the pause button and explain, okay, so this is what this means, this is what that means. So yeah, much love, appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Starting to start recording your game.